I am Batman. I mean, Average Sniper.
What's up, everybody? Average Sniper here, bringing you another PUBG video. This gameplay is from Xbox, and today I would like to talk to you about which version of PUBG requires more skill, the Xbox version or the PC version. Now, before we get started, I would like to say two things. One, this is not a comparison of which is better. This is not a comparison of frame rate, graphics, or anything like that. So if you're looking for a PC versus Xbox video on which one is better, this is not the right video for you. This video is about which one requires more skill to play. And the second thing I want to say is I want to see a lot of comments from you guys with your opinion on this, because I feel this is a video that people could have some really strong opinions about, and I would love to see those in the comments section. Feel free to comment before or after you watch the video if you want to see what I have to say first. So I'm going to give my opinion on it, and I'm going to break it down for you. Which version of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds requires more skill? Is it the Xbox version or the PC version? Now, let's take under assumption that let's say the person we're using to compare these two games' skill set is very good at using a keyboard and mouse and also very good at using a controller. So they could play either or. It's not like we're saying Xbox is easier because you're more used to a controller, or PC is easier because you're more used to keyboard and mouse. We're just going to assume the person we're talking about when we're comparing the skill here is proficient at using both input devices, keyboard, mouse, and controller. Alright, so let's get started on this. I've broken this down into some different categories, and we're going to rate each category with my opinion on which one is easier or harder on each platform. And you guys let me know in the comments what you think about this, if there's anything to add to this as well. So the first thing I have down is movement. Now, movement on PC is done with the keyboard and mouse. You move left, right, forward, and backwards using the buttons on the keyboard, and you spin in 3 dimensions by using the mouse. In my experience with the PC, I have almost 1,200 hours on PUBG on PC, and I have about 1,000 hours or close to 1,000 hours on Xbox. So I have a lot of experience with both. So I'm going to give you my opinion on this. The movement system, I think, is easier to do with a keyboard and mouse. It's more accurate and more precise than it is to do with a controller. The reason for this is that you can build up much better muscle memory with the mouse that's more precise, because you can move it to the exact location and stop moving it. Whereas with the controller continues to move as you hold it down, and you have to let go to stop it. It's not going to be as precise. So I would say the movement system is definitely easier on PC and harder on Xbox. Now, and we'll talk about whether easier or harder means requires more skill after we get done with the points. Then let's go to driving. Okay, driving is one of those things that for me has always felt much more comfortable on a controller. So I would say that driving is harder on PC and easier on Xbox. Now let's go to looting. Looting. I think it's much easier to loot on PC because you can simply drag and drop what you need and what you don't need. You can auto-equip attachments just by dragging them to your gun. You can drop stuff just by dragging it down. You can actually type in numbers if you want to drop a specific amount of an item that you might have. Where on Xbox, you don't have a keyboard, so you have to do everything with basically the A and the X button on your controller. It takes a while to scroll through the loot. You can't just use the scroll wheel on the mouse to go up and down. And it can take a considerable amount of time. Let's say you have a SCAR with all the attachments and you find an M4 and you want to switch to it. You have to take all those attachments off your gun using the controller and put them all on the new gun, also using the controller. This takes a considerably longer amount of time than it does to do this on PC, where you can just drag and drop everything. So I would say that looting is easier on PC and harder on Xbox. And I also covered the looting plus the attaching of equipment. That kind of goes hand in hand. Let's talk about healing. That's another major thing that you're going to find that you need to do very often. Heal. Now on Xbox, you have 2 ways to heal. You can push the start button, go to the item you want to use to heal in your inventory, and press A. This can be the fastest way to heal if you are very proficient at pushing those buttons quickly. Second way to heal is you can press the down button on your D-pad, scroll to the item that you want to use, and then hold the down button down to apply that item. I often use the start menu because I feel that instead of scrolling through the items and then holding down to use it, I might as well scroll through the items and just tap once to use it. Now on PC, you can bind hotkeys for each healing item. So all you have to do, for example, is press 8, or let's say 9 for bandages, 8 for first aid kits, 0 for painkillers, and maybe minus for energy drinks or adrenaline syringes. You can bind the keys to whatever you want. So because you can do that, I would say that healing on PC is much easier than healing on Xbox because it eliminates the whole process of having to scroll through a menu, whether you're using down on the D-pad or the start menu, to find and use the item that you want. You can simply press a button on your keyboard and that item will start to heal you. So for healing, I think that is much harder on Xbox and much easier to do on PC. Then we have the aiming system. Okay, and I saved this one for last because it's a topic of great discussion on the PUBG Xbox forums. Ever since this game came out, the aiming system has seemed really clunky, especially when it first released because there was so much input lag on the controller. And input lag is basically the amount of time it takes from when you press a button or move a thumbstick on the controller to when it happens on your screen that you can see it happen. And they have greatly improved this, but there still seems to be a considerable amount of input lag with this game compared to other games. Not only that, but the low frames per second makes for a bad aiming experience. A lot of times players on PC will complain if their frame rate drops below 190 that they have trouble aiming, while most people on Xbox have to make do with an aim system that runs between 15 and 30 frames per second, 15 to 20 being average, 25, I would say anything above 20 to 30 being excellent. So that's pretty bad. Plus there's no aim assist. And aim assist is something that most console shooters have. It doesn't auto-aim for you, but it helps slow your sensitivity down around targets, and some games even take it as far as helping you get centered on target when you press the aim button. There's different levels of aim assist. Some levels of aim assist are really high in some games, and some are very low. It's up to the developer. But PUBG is one of the few games on console that does not have aim assist. So you're not only are you using a controller to aim, which is much more less precise than using a mouse, you're also not getting assisted by the console with your aim. So if you make one wrong movement, or if you overcompensate, or if your sensitivity is too high and you swing over the target, that could be life and death right there. Now that just doesn't happen on PC because you can adjust your sensitivity to work with your mouse to the point where you can basically snap onto targets almost instantly. There is no aim assist on PC. There are very few games that have aim assist enabled on PC because when you're using a mouse, you simply do not need aim assist. It would probably hinder you more than it would help you. But on console, aim assist is pretty much something that everyone's been used to, playing Call of Duty and Battlefield, the main shooter titles. And then they come over to PUBG on Xbox and have to learn how to adjust to playing a game that doesn't assist you onto the target. So I would say that the aiming system is much harder on Xbox than it is on PC. So if we use the harder versus easier scale, between movement, driving, looting, healing, and aiming, there's only one part of that that's easier to do on Xbox, in my opinion, and that is driving. So this means that overall, PUBG is a much harder experience playing on the Xbox. Now, for me, it actually seems a little easier than PC. I don't know if that's because there's less cheaters, or just because I'm so used to using a controller. I still potato aim all the time, much worse than I do on PC, but I have grown up playing Xbox, so even playing without aim assist, I can get used to pretty fast. But I don't know, guys. You tell me. Does the harder versus easier scale mean that Xbox really requires more skill than PC, or does it just mean that it needs to be more fine-tuned so that it runs smoother? I can't wait to see you guys' comments in the comment section. Let's turn this into a community discussion. I will read all the comments that I can. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Later.